New year, same old playbook. Xenophobic Donald Trump falsely blaming migrants for the deadly attack in New Orleans on New Year's Day, even after the FBI identified the suspect as a U.S. citizen and Army veteran who acted alone. How Trump's lies about immigrants make us all less safe. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graph's Grievances starts right now. As of this taping, much is still not known about the fatal attack in the French Quarter of New Orleans on New Year's Day that has now taken the life of at least 15 people and injured no fewer than 30 more. But what we do know is that the man who drove a pickup truck into crowds celebrating the new year in the very early morning and was then killed by police in a shootout is that he is not an undocumented immigrant. According to the FBI, the man identified as the suspect is a U.S. citizen born in Texas, veteran of the U.S. Army, father of two, who more recently held a six-figure job as a consultant for Deloitte. Yet despite this very clear description, remember, they killed the guy, they have his physical body, President-elect Donald Trump is still insisting he was, quote, right about everything when he falsely claimed shortly after the attack that it was caused by, quote, criminals coming in from other countries. A few hours later, Trump expanding on those false remarks, writing, quote, this is what happens when you have open borders. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. To be clear, Trump rushing to blame undocumented immigrants, open borders, Democrats, before the FBI had even identified the suspect in the attack. Trump is xenophobic to his core. He blames anything and everything that goes wrong on people who come to America from other countries. Remarkably similar to how Adolf Hitler blamed the Jews and other minorities for Germany's defeat in World War I, and eventually all of the other problems Hitler identified in the world. And I cannot, for the life of me, understand why more people do not see the frightening similarities. But back to Trump. Even after the FBI released the profile of the suspect as a 42-year-old Texas native who spent 8 years in the U.S. Army, Trump not only kept up his social media posts, blaming the attack on migrants, open borders, and Democrats, but doubled down on his lies, blaming, quote, Biden's open border policy for the attack and writing that, quote, Biden is the worst president in the history of America. To repeat, there is no evidence, none, that undocumented immigrants had anything to do with the horrible tragedy in New Orleans. Investigators also saying, based on hundreds of interviews and reviews of the attackers' calls, social media accounts, and electronic devices, they now believe he acted alone and that there were no accomplices. But Trump's misinformation and outright lies about the alleged culprit being an illegal immigrant are still being amplified by MAGA influencers and lawmakers. His son, Don Jr., posting about the attack, writing, quote, Biden's parting gift to America, migrant terrorists. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene falsely writing on social media that the alleged attacker came, quote, across the border 2 days ago. Shut down the border. Who did our government bomb lately that is taking it out on innocent Americans? Of course, none of that is true, including the part about the alleged attacker recently crossing the border. Other Trump-backing Congress members and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance have also amplified misinformation and lies about the alleged attacker. And all of this is not only cruel and bigoted, but makes America less safe because instead of focusing on apprehending actual criminals, Trump and his acolytes want to terrorize immigrants to this country. Individuals who overwhelmingly choose to come to America to work hard, obey the law, and achieve their version of the American dream. Studies have repeatedly shown that immigrants, including undocumented immigrants, commit crimes at lower rates than native-born Americans. Look at this chart from Texas Department of Public Safety, not exactly a liberal or progressive institution, showing migrants in the United States have had lower incarceration rates than the native-born population in America since at least 1870, when such data was first collected. But none of this matters to Trump because facts and reality mean nothing to him. Instead, perhaps inspired by the Nazi leader Adolf Hitler, who Trump has said did, quote, some good things, Trump has chosen to scapegoat a group of powerless, marginalized people who just want to build a better life for themselves and their families. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share, and join me tomorrow for more.